Hey y'all, Dizzlebay. So today we're talking a little bit about materialism, non-dualism, and the meaning crisis. Now, to be fair, we talk a lot about non-duality here, and materialism is actually a non-dual philosophy. You guys, if you are a consistent viewer of this channel, you might understand a little bit about materialism, especially in comparison to like idealism. But guys, it's not like unfair to say that materialism says that you have to follow it all the way back too with evolution and everything. So life comes from what they say like primordial soup, which to be fair, more recent hypotheses say that life arose from like hypothermic vents. I'm not arguing really like where life appears to come from, but what I'm saying is that everything arises in consciousness. Everything is mentation. Sorry, y'all, I just gotta interrupt. But let's start with materialism and like science and all that stuff. And there's something called abiogenesis. This is the scientific theory that all life arose from non-living matter. And in layman's terms, it's essentially saying that all life arose from something called, like, they call it primordial soup. And the theory of abiogenesis says that building blocks for the primordial soup came from the basic inorganic elements that were present on the early Earth, including the minerals in its rocky crust and water. So to understand this, materialists are saying that it's essentially time and space are real and it's a linear process throughout the entire thing. Like 14 whatever billion years ago, which to me always seems silly, right? Like we're supposed to believe like all of this is only 14 billion years old. That number just seems so small and arbitrary and silly, but moving past that. Oh, I'm not giving enough attention to just how long a billion years is, blah, blah, blah. I get it, dude. I get it. But the way my mind works, you guys, is I'm so far past billions of years. Dude, I'm talking, like, let me introduce you to how idealists think about the Big Bang. Whoa. I just was about to say the Big Bang. That was so creepy. I don't even know what that was. It's too early for fireworks and nobody shoots guns around here. Hopefully that was a car backfiring. To an idealist, and we're going to keep Buddhists out of this because Buddhists are just, they're so intense and insane and different compared to most idealist, non-dualistic, mental, conscious, primary first people. But to an idealist, to a non-dualist idealist, the Big Bang is an appearance within consciousness itself happening right now, meaning there is no time and space as a linear concept. There's only right here and right now. It's all that there ever has been or will be. So the Big Bang, when we observe it as observers, it's not something that happened then. Our scientists are peering into the activity of consciousness itself happening right now, but the human mind breaks it down, seeing it through a linear timeline. Do you see? But that's all an illusion. That's only the human mind's understanding. Because guys, to believe in materialism means that 14 billion years ago that happened. Then 4 billion years ago Earth happened. Then whatever millions of years ago primordial soup happened. And then out of rocks and water, just like life, just little microscopic life, and then just blah 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 through all this time, blah 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 blah, just forever and ever and ever and ever, and all of a sudden we're just here now. That's the idea we're taught, and I get that. That's what I grew up with. I understand that. But you have to understand, guys, that idealism doesn't necessarily argue that at all. We're not, it's not here to argue evolution, but what it's saying is that consciousness didn't arise, awareness didn't arise with those primordial soup life forms. Everything that went on before is now. But not like now in a literal physical sense that materialists would understand. For an idealist, the Big Bang is a conceptual event that is timeless and perpetually occurring in the present moment. For to an idealist, it is a description, the universe's appearance within consciousness itself. To an idealist, there's only ever been observation. Do you see what I'm saying? It's hard for us to understand because we're so used to just having a linear time of billions of years and millions of years and us being so extracted from it. And back to the Buddhist mind stream and stuff. Like, I'm not saying that, like, I don't know. Let me just stick to what's going on here because we already said we're not talking about Buddhists. So let me not bring in Buddhism. To idealism, there's only consciousness, only awareness. Every aspect, every event, and every quality is either contained within consciousness or consciousness itself, guys, to an idealist. All awareness, it's all consciousness, it's all beingness, all the way down. As awareness itself, guys, that puts you right in the driver's seat, not millions and billions of years separated and meaningless and nothing and gone within a second. Because that's what you are to materialists. You're nothing. Honestly, to be fair, to an idealist, the story of the Big Bang is almost backwards, right? To an idealist, the before life state of the universe was still a state of awareness. Before the development of localized, individuated observers, like, little from microscopic to us humans, universe was a state of awareness. Not was, is a state of awareness. This primordial soup would have been an appearance within awareness itself, not a conscious separate thing that later acquired observation. So it's like this, real quick and easy. So it's like the Big Bang, excluding Buddhism, to an idealist, to a non-dualist, the Big Bang is... So it's like, to a proper idealist, excluding Buddhism, Big Bang is an internal process within awareness, ever ongoing internal process that each individual observer, you and I, are a part of. For we are right now, as humans and human minds, dissociated from that larger awareness. Our awareness is dissociated. As an idealist, with the Big Bang, as dissociated alters, each of us, we are all witnessing same ongoing mental event from our own unique vantage points. The modern physical material understanding of the Big Bang, to an idealist, is just our mind's attempt understand its own origin within its own limitations. Again, you guys, I love the human mind, don't get me wrong, but it is a challenging, and in Donald Hoffman's words, it's not a very advanced headset. It's not. So guys, what I'm trying to get at real quick is, like, materialist view, physicalist view, is you are but a blip. That's it. This whole timeline. Billions of years without you, billions more to come without you. You are but nothing but a fraction of insignificant time. If I could peel a little piece of my nail off and show you how small that piece is, you are ineffably even less insignificant than that, essentially, on the timeline. What your human life means in the... What I'm trying to say to you guys is that this is wrong. You are meaningful. There's actual meaning to your life. And then I'm going to take... I forget exactly where I heard it, but it's something like, one who understands truth, they don't even need meaning, because they're just... all you need is happy. It's something like happy. You don't need meaning in your life when you're happy, or something like that. And that's true. Like, in a sense, like, you don't even need meaning when you're content with being here. That's what true idealism offers, guys, is to just be here now and be happy with what's going on. And again, that's so much easier said than done, especially in this modern tyrannical world. I get it, guys, I get it. But what it's asking you is to love yourself, to love where you are and love who you are and love what you are and love when you are and love how you are. Don't let your happiness be contingent on someone else or something else, or the fact that, you don't have anything. Because, guys, like, I'm telling you, the meaning crisis stems from the fact that we do not question materialism. We are taught materialism, and then we're forced into a consumerist, materialist world. But, guys, I'd be willing to bet like 95% of humanity doesn't actually even know or question or understand philosophical materialism. And if you right now, the observer, questioned philosophical materialism, you would probably disagree with it. You guys, so I'm filming. This is another synchronistic event. So we had the bang earlier, and guys, this I paused Arthur Schopenhauer because this is where Arthur Schopenhauer's. I just let it run, you guys, and this is where he. This is what it happens to be talking about.
No object without a subject is the principle which renders all materialism forever impossible.
Hold on, I'm gonna back it up. Okay, I'm gonna let it play.
4. No object without a subject is the principle which renders all materialism forever impossible. Suns and planets without an eye that sees them, and an understanding that knows them, may indeed be spoken of in words, but for the idea, these words are absolutely meaningless. On the other hand, the law of causality and the treatment and investigation of nature which is based upon it lead us necessarily to the conclusion that in time, each more highly organized state of matter has succeeded a cruder state, so that the lower animals existed before men, fishes before land animals, plants before fishes, and the unorganized before all that is organized. That consequently the original mass had to pass through a long series of changes before the first eye could be opened. And yet the existence of this whole world remains ever dependent upon the first eye that opened, even if it were that of an insect. For such an eye is a necessary condition of the possibility of knowledge, and the whole world exists only in and for knowledge, and without it is not even thinkable. The world is entirely idea, and as such demands the knowing subject as the supporter of its existence. This long course of time itself, filled with innumerable changes, through which matter rose from form to form, till at last the first percipient creature appeared, this whole time itself is only thinkable in the identity of a consciousness whose succession of ideas, whose form of knowing it is, and apart from which it loses all meaning and is nothing at all. End of book.
You guys, that was written in 1813, you guys. That was 1813, and it wasn't until like 1922 when a physicist, Alexander Friedman, first proposed the idea of an expanding universe. And I know he was talking about evolution, not cosmology and stuff, but don't you see the idea of the eye of the observer that he was talking about? Guys, the Big Bang Theory was then created by a Catholic priest in 1927. A Catholic priest. This channel's all on to the Abrahamic faiths and authority. Of course, a Catholic priest. You guys, I'm telling you, IMO. There are certain people that know what's up. It's just my opinion. Of course, a Catholic priest is the one to propose the idea of a Big Bang Theory. And to me, it's just always interesting that a Catholic priest created such a scientific concept, because isn't science supposed to be contradictory to religion and stuff? But unless it's not, because, oh my god, I'm not getting into that in this video. But, guys, Darwin didn't even propose evolution till like 1959. So clearly he got his work from what Schopenhauer was talking about. Because Schopenhauer didn't create evolution. But the idea that Darwin proposed was clearly built off of other people that Schopenhauer knew about. Because didn't you hear what he was just talking about from the fishes and all that other stuff? I just think it's funny that the people that were major influences in separating God from you, Catholicism, created the Big Bang. I just think that's weird. Guys, don't you see how, like, it's so separate from you billions of years ago, and then life, and you're just this one little human within that whole thing, and you're just gone forever? Like, dude, like, you have to really question materialism, because that's what materialism says. Again, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that, like, disobey the debaser continues on. Maybe this is where we do bring in Buddhism, just my personal belief. Again, this is just my personal belief. Do not ever believe me. Do yourself, do your own belief, your own heart, your own mind, your own gut. But what I'm just saying is like, maybe, obviously the ego doesn't continue. That's what I'm trying to say. The ego, so that doesn't even involve Buddhism. We don't even have to get into Buddhism, because no idealist real worth their salt would say the ego continues, guys. It doesn't. But consciousness continues, guys. Your mind continues. The ocean of consciousness never is not. And the whirlpool of your mind within that consciousness is made of ripples. So when this whirlpool ceases, the ripples have to go somewhere within that ocean of consciousness. Now, materialism says it's just a separate world and you're just a separate thing in it, and once you're dead, that's it. No. Idealism is saying that, yo, your ripples, and you are consciousness. You are the ocean. The ego is the whirlpool. The ocean of consciousness is. You are that, just taking on a form of a whirlpool. Do you see? As any idealist practice or religion worth their salt, they all talk about past lives and stuff like that. Meaning, you and I have been here before. We've done this before. But not the ego. Not your name. Not your address. Not your whoever you are, wherever you are. No, that's unique. That's special. That's that. But this is. And you are a part of that. Now, materialism says this is. And it says you're a part of it. But only for a short time. And idealism says that too, the ego. But it says your awareness will never not be. So, when you die, that's not the end. I would never pretend to know what is. But I will definitely sit here and argue that when you die, it's not the end. Or better or worse. Now, you want to talk about meaning? Bro, that's what's missing. Your life is inherently meaningful because it's consciousness itself doing you. You guys, it's like this. Like this, you guys. This right here is a represented fake person. This person's name is Philosophical Azure. Okay? Philosophical Azure. To know Philosophical Azure. Because he's important because he's not real. He doesn't exist in the mind of consciousness in the way that you and I do in the sense of awareness. There's no awareness here. He's represented because he's not important. So it's okay to beat up on Philosophical Azure if we need to. Both mentally, verbally, physically to get a point across. But you are special, you are important, and you are meaningful. And it's not okay to verbally hurt you, to mentally hurt you, or to physically hurt you. It's not okay to do that because you are an actual real thing that means things, that means something. The universe, consciousness, didn't choose to make Philosophical Azure a person. Philosophical Azure is not real. So you are. So you have meaning, and you have purpose in this life. The reason why Philosophical Azure wasn't in a uterus and born to the world, okay? Because Philosophical Azure is not important to mind at large, to Mother Nature, to God, to the interconnectedness of all things. Philosophical Azure has no actual existence, no meaning in the sense of how you and I do. Every time you think that your life is for naught, that your life is shit, that your life is meaningless, think of Philosophical Azure, because that's actually a meaningless life. You guys, Bernardo Kastrup has an analogy for, like, computers, quantum computing, and I'm sure it would hold up for any robots or anything, like quantum AI, like conscious AI or anything. It says essentially we will never make that stuff. Not in the way we think we will. Because he has like an analogy for computers as like he would know way better than I. He has a PhD in computer science and a PhD in philosophy, and he says that computers are essentially, it would take the size of a planet, but it's no different than pipes and water. So essentially, he says that the computer's conduits and switches would be equivalent to pipes and valves. He says that the electricity, the current powering the computer would be equivalent to the water flowing through the pipes. So what he's trying to do with this metaphor is say that it's, and it is theoretically, technologically, physically possible to build a water-based computer consisting of billions of pipes and valves and stuff. It is possible to do that. Not even the size of a planet like we were talking about, which would probably be necessary for something consciousness, but to just build a computer, a small one, based on water with billions of pipes and valves, you could do that. I'm sure it's technologically possible. The point of him making this argument is that nobody would ever believe that complex systems of pipes and valves and water would become conscious, guys, because that's what this physical world is. There's nothing to it. There's no thing to it. Meaning, there is only that which is to it, which is you. You are the no thing. There is nothing to the material world. It is inherently empty in the sense that it's not without the observer. The observer observing the observed is all one thing. There is no separation here. You are truth. The external material world is not truth. This is not truth. This is philosophical Azure, and it's okay to beat up on philosophical Azure to get a point across. You have meaning. You're important. The material world has meaning and is important in the sense of it's where we live, and we need to take care of ourselves and each other and our environment, but no other meaning than that. You are what matters. Not the things, not the money, not the societal status, not anything that you identify as is inherently important in the sense of the fact that it all stems from awareness. So everything follows awareness. Your name, your age, your address, your societal status, your money status, your educational status, your race, your gender, your sex, everything arises out of awareness. So all of that stuff's great and beautiful, and don't ever forget it or neglect it, but don't make it be who you are inherently and fundamentally, because it's not true. What you are is the universe. What you are is the curiosity of the cosmos itself, experiencing itself through a vessel called whatever your name, address, sex, gender, money, society status is. Think about it. That's beautiful, guys. And that gives every moment of your life inherent meaning. And just like, but the cosmos isn't doing philosophical Azure. Philosophical Azure's emotions and feelings and hopes and dreams don't mean anything because they're not real, because he is not real. But you are. Don't you see? Don't you see? And materialism just says, no, go to work, punch in, pay your bills, shut the fuck up, and die already. Dude, I'm just saying, there's a different way. And this is the issue here, guys. We don't have any meaning. And even more importantly, even beyond happiness and meaning, we don't have contentment. We don't like ourselves, we don't like each other, and we don't like our life. We don't like our environment. We have, as a collective whole, guys, we've disconnected from nature. We've lost the love, the curiosity, the wonder, the will of it all. While we're finding ourselves out here, let us go forth and, follow our hearts, listen to our guts, have an open mind, carry a moral compass, and let us be love now. Be love now. Peace.